last couple shows have been shit, so thank you so much, Boston.
Got together and just did whatever we wanted to do. There was no one around to tell us what was cool or what wasn't, or what single was possible, or nothing ever really mattered to us. We just wanted to do something dope. You know, we spent like a year or more of just hopping in and out of the studio. We collected records over that time, and with Country Fresh, which is my signature line, dropping off of Famous, we decided to put out an EP with that. And you know, we just figured that, you know, it had never been done. Of course, there's never been a situation that had been put together quite like this. I mean, Travis is an amazing musician and has a long musical history on top of having a successful clothing brand, you know. And so when we collabed and we did something, we did music, it just made sense. It made sense to put it out with the next line of Country Fresh, and Travis put up the bread for to do the videos for Psycho White, and he just really believes in what we do, the music we make, and I don't know what people are gonna say or how they're gonna receive it. All I know is that we're proud of it, and there's really nothing else that we really care about. You know what I'm saying? We did something we thought was dope. And it's literally him and I joining, you know, his influences, my influences to make music. And we didn't overthink it. So Psycho White is coming out November 13th, and that's pretty much it. You know, that's like, we're just leaving it up. We're leaving it up to people to define it. Like, people ask us, what's the music sound like? Even him and I sitting right next to one another would tell you, I don't know. How do you define it? I don't know. Like, there's punk rock, there's hip-hop, there's rock and roll, there's obviously some country influence as far as my content goes. There's ska reggae with Tim Armstrong, you know, from Rancid, and Pop Ivy, you know. There's a lot going on in the music, so we're not asking for anything specific as far as a response, man. We're just putting it out and doing what feels right. That's pretty much it. Well, when I first started getting Flow boxes of Famous, you know, I was getting like boxes in the mail, you know, like getting boxes of Famous gear, and I was so hyped to be getting clothes, you know, like some ill shit, you know, and I ended up meeting him in California, and we clicked, you know, as people. I don't think that it wouldn't have taken him being a fan of mine or my being a fan of his for him and I to like click, because once we got in the studio, it was what it was. And, you know, like, just as people and with family, you know what I'm saying, we got family, man. We got family to take care of, you know. This is my oldest, Rico. He's 10 years old, and you know, like, we got more things to worry about in our lives than just like the creative aspect of it. So it's like, in order to feed that, you gotta be like, you gotta be free, you know what I mean? You know, you can't like follow the guidelines, because we're trying to set a standard for our children, you know, for him, so that he knows, like, when he's coming up, if this is something he wants to do, whatever it is he chooses to do. Right now, he's all into fashion design. He's 10 years old. He has a sewing machine. Takes sewing lessons, you know. Always drawing and designing fashion. Like, whoever saw that coming. But I want him to know, as Travis wants his kids to know, or fans to know, that, like, just do what feels right. You know what I mean? And that's the whole family first. That's what the Famous family, I feel, represents the best. Is putting the family first, and, like, you know, making that, you know, most important, beyond industry or whoever, what everybody thinks, you know what I'm saying? Like, just making it make sense in music by being free, you know, or whatever you choose to do, dancing or DJing or painting or whatever you choose to do, being a doctor, just do what feels right, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we did what felt right, you know? Me and Krit, man, Krit and I, like, we've been talking about doing Country Cousins for the past like year and a half, and man, you know, we've finally come to the point. Like, I've been talking to him more than ever. I met him overseas, like ran into him overseas rather, and we're like, man, we need to really do this Country Cousins tape. And he hit me up. He just got off tour, so the Country Cousins EP is a definite, you know. And I can't say when. I wish I could, but I can tell you that it's in the process right now. You know, I don't know if Alabama goes to the championship. I don't know if he'll be willing to do it anymore. I know we did Miss State pretty dirty, but you know, we'll try to put all that aside and like just make some music. And I'm sorry, I had to do a Krit. He hit me up with a, hey, it's Miss State over here, homie. I know we're boys and all, but the tide rolled on Miss State. You know? So, anyway, that's my boy, though, and Country Cousins. I got my fingers crossed. I want it to happen, and I don't know when, but I can pretty much guarantee you that it's going to happen. I just can't tell you when, and we're in the process right now. We're picking out beats, we're writing music, and it's all up, man. Krit is one of my favorite artists, producers, and MCs. He's one of the illest, you know. Yeah, Slumdon Bridge with Ed Sheeran came out of nowhere. Like, I know that Ed had hit my friends up, my people up, like, I would really like to do something with Yella, and I wasn't familiar with his music, and I went and listened to his music, and I was like, I don't really know. I don't know how this would make sense, but I'll go talk to him. I'll go meet with him. And I literally said before we went to the studio, I don't know what's going to happen of this, but I'll give it an opportunity, you know what I'm saying? And when I got to the studio, we clicked and we vibed and we made the EP literally in one night. We did the entire EP in one session. And I mean, like, sometimes you just never know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, who with. You just vibe, you know. And some people that you might not really like predict a certain collab situation to arise, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just happens, you know what I mean? Like, so, and that's kind of really the same way that it ended up with Travis. It was like, I was down with the Famous Squad, you know what I mean? I was a fan of Travis, but I didn't know it would turn into music, you know, hopefully, you know, but we put the music first, and if I was to get in the studio with Travis and it didn't work, it just didn't work, but it did. The same thing with Ed. When I got into the studio and I met him, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but something cool happened, so I rolled with it, you know. And that's pretty much how I move, man. You know, as far as Krit, I've already worked with Krit. I know some dope shit's gonna come out of the Krit situation, you know. So, like, everything happens differently, you know. There's no two songs that are written alike, and no two sessions that are alike. And I just take it day by day, man, and song by song. Yeah, there's a lot of artists that I would love to work with. I mean, the list is so long. I would love to work with Anthony Kiedis. I think that, like, I've said that so many times, and I don't know, man. I'm just zoned in on possibly working with him one day, but if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, it doesn't change my being a fan of his at all. You know what I mean? Like, Chad, his drummer, came out to a show in New York one time, and I was just like elated that one of the Peppers came out. You know, so I mean, I would love to work with Chad. I think hearing him on a just straight hip hop beat would be, you know, would be crazy. You know, like, because he's an ill rapper. He's an amazing singer. He's an amazing songwriter, and he's also he's got an amazing delivery. So I would like to see that happen. Well, this next album, Love Story, the album following Radioactive, is totally different approach artistically, and there were some. Marshall and I were cut short creatively in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Like we never really got a chance to really just like be left alone in a sense, like just do what we wanted to do. I think that a lot of people saw, obviously they see Marshall as a gold mine, you know, out of the gate, you know, and they saw that this being the first, I guess, white rapper that he had co-signed and wanted to do a project with, that we needed single after single after single, and I gave that creative space up. Admittedly, I gave that up, you know. And I said prior that, all right, I'm gonna allow this to happen, but if it doesn't work, don't ever ask me to do it again. You know, it's not gonna happen. So I did, and like I predicted, like I knew would happen. There are records that didn't work. There are records that didn't translate because my fans weren't ready to hear it. But I was all on board for it, you know, just being a team player. But now that I've allowed that to happen, what's going to happen now is I'm going to get back in the studio in Nashville and create Love Story. And then I'm going to go to Detroit, God willing, and sit down with Marshall with my album, and we're going to put it together, just him and I, you know what I'm saying? And like whatever artist, period, that we allow in the circle. And like-minded people to come in and have an input, and that is that. There's not, you know, there's certain sounds, there's certain styles that only happen once. You know what I mean? So Radioactive has a few examples of trial and error, I would say. You know, but it's all good, man. I definitely learned a lot with that album, and as far as how industry works, and restructured my situation now, you know. So Slamerican is taking the place of other situations that were there at the time, and I have complete 1,000,000% faith that what's going to reach the people this time is going to be way more impactful, simply just because it is artistically coming from a very genuine place, you know what I mean? And like there was no boundaries put around us, and because everyone can sit around and say, hey man, we really tried, you know what I mean? Like, so just give me what I need, give me my space, just back out of the studio, do what you do, whatever it is that you do, and let me do what I do. And when the music is done, then you can send it out to the masses however you choose. But let me make sure that the product is what it's supposed to be without your creative input. Because unless you're standing on that fucking stage, or you're in that studio writing that music, your input means so much less to me at this point, you know. So I'm proud, man. I think that it's gonna go down exactly how it's supposed to go down. Love Story. Psycho White, November 13th. Trump Music returns February 2013, hopefully. Country Cousins, you know, I don't know when it's in the making, and then of course Love Story. Love Story is gonna get done. It's gonna get done the right way. So, Rico, you want to do a drop?
Sorry, but
alright, well, there's that. Yeah, what up? I'm Yelawolf, and this is my baby, my oldest baby, Rico. Very brilliant, young mind, very driven, artistic young man. And I didn't dress him, by the way. This is him. So, yeah, just so you know. Thank you so much for having us. Boston, we're out of here. Holler. What up, this is Yelawolf, and you're watching NEHip-Hop.com.
Everybody put their middle finger to the sky. Say, fuck you, Yelawolf. Fuck you, Yelawolf. Fuck you, Yelawolf. Fuck you, Yelawolf. Boston makes me feel better about life, thank you.